Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Alpha X Pro Series number 56. My name is Rushy, and I will be your English caster this evening for the Alpha X Pro Series. This is going to be a double header tonight, so I'm really looking forward to spending some time with you guys as we get ourselves ready to go for tonight's matchups. Our first series is going to be between True and Future. If this is your first time joining us for the Alpha X Pro Series, this is a series provided by the Alpha X esports team from North America. Big sponsors for this event are Matcherino and Africa TV that allow us to do this kind of content over here on Africa TV. So thank you so much to those people. We have a lot of great people that we're going to talk about throughout the course of the evening. But first, we are going to talk about our format of our event tonight. This is a best of 9 show match. So our players are going to be playing for the lion's share of $75, which will be a lot of money for both of these two players. Both players guaranteed to walk away with a significant amount of cash, but obviously fighting for the larger portion. This is a best of 9, so we will take the first to 5 wins. Hopefully, we'll see some great games. Maybe we'll see everything go all the way to the 9th game. But we'll have to see. We'll have to be patient here as we get ourselves set up and rolling. But there are a couple of things that we can get set up here right before we get moving tonight. We can take a look at the Matcherino page. There will be, not quite yet, I'm looking at the chat here. There will be a link in the chat for our Matcherino page that you guys can go click on and submit. There will be a link, should be Alpha X Pro Series 56. Will allow you to contribute 50 cents towards our prize pool, which is, again, significant. We definitely need your help in getting these players paid, and you have the opportunity, if you so desire, to give them a little extra paycheck if you contribute not only your 50-cent free code, coupon code, that is, but you can also kick in on top of that as well. But we will get into that a little bit more later on as we go through. Let's talk a little bit about our players tonight. Both of our players playing from the North American server, so we will be on the NA West server. Future, an up-and-coming Terran player, recently just won Cheesadelphia. I believe that was just a few months ago, so really not too far away from his last victory. Did participate in WCS Winter, and I don't think he made it too terribly far in his first group stage, but just getting his foray into the scene, I think he's actually just recently, I mean within the last year or two, been eligible to compete at the WCS level. So I have a feeling that we're going to see Future a little bit more in the WCS scene going forward for him. True, on the other hand, I hate to call him a veteran because he's not super old, but tons of experience, GSL background, WCS, plays for Psystorm Gaming, and has a lot of talent. Likes to be a cheeky player. So I definitely think that there will be the potential for a lot of unique, fun, aggressive games in this series for sure. But here we are jumping into game number 1 here. It's going to be on Automaton. Our players agreed to the following format. We're going to play all 7 maps in alphabetical order, starting with Automaton at the top and then working our way down from there. If we go into a game 8 or a game 9, we will have losers pick on both of those maps. So, could make it interesting, but it will offer us the opportunity to see a majority of these maps in their entirety, which will be nice. And it's a little bit more predictable because they are just running right in order, one after the other. All right, here we are jumping into our first game of the evening. And it is on Automaton, spawning in the top right-hand corner. Playing for Infinity Gaming. It's our Red Terran player. He is Future. And spawning in the bottom left, our Blue Zerg playing for Psystorm Gaming. This is True. Now, forgive me, I have to make sure that I adjust the audio because otherwise the audio just gets to be a little too loud. There we go. I think that's going to balance out just a little bit better. All right, so we are jumping into game number 1 here. This is our best of 9. Wonderful, wonderful. And we do have, oh, look at that beautiful logo. Look at it. That's so gorgeous. Sushi showing me how to put some logos down on our stream so we can have the excellent broadcast. And meanwhile, I have to go into my menus every now and again. I said Drew likes to play a little bit on the cheesy side and aggressive side, and he is going to show us that here in game number 1. True opening up with a spawning pool first. Future opting to go into a little bit more of a standard opening here, going barracks into command center, following it up with a second refinery here. So actually picking up a lot of gas here at the very beginning of this game. And actually, I'm starting to think, I'm thinking that actually this was a command first build. So actually that is a little bit different. Future opting to go for a little bit more of a greedier style. Yeah, and playing greedy, opting to go for that Marine first to help push away this Overlord. This is going to be important for him to try and drive away. It's going to be very obvious to True that this is done significantly earlier than otherwise normal in this matchup. And this is going to actually pan out well for True anyways, because he opted to go for that pool first. Now, I don't think the pool was incredibly aggressive because he's not flooding Lings just yet. He just now dropped down his third at a reasonable timing. So I don't think this is too incredibly crazy for either player. But yet, here I say, and then what do we see on the production tab? We see 14 Lings on the way. So True is going to opt to get a little bit aggressive here at the beginning. Factory's going to start pumping out double Hellions, which will be a good counter. But Ling Speed has finished up here. These Lings are going to move across the map. What does he have for vision? What does he know that's happening? He just sees that the orbital was being formed here. So first group of Lings is going to swing up here, confirm that there is not a third base. Lings are going to run into the mineral line here and draw out the Hellions. And I think he's going to try and sandwich these Hellions as much as he can. But the Hellions are going to be able to escape into the main base. But with the supply depot down, that's going to allow these Lings to just flood on in. Ooh, Future does a really nice job of wedging one of the Hellions back behind the worker line and is able to protect one while maintaining the wall up front. He does lose one of the Hellions. 9 workers goes down. True is doing some really nice damage here. This supply depot is more than likely going to get tossed. Yeah, that's going to go down. And that's actually going to limit Future's production here for just a brief amount of time. Stimpack is on the way. So he's not completely down and out. He's got 3 barracks. He can easily re-rally on a large Marine push at this point. But it is going to take him just a little bit to get recovered here. He did lose most of the workers that he would have had at his second base expansion. And now he's forced to try and build this large army off of 1 base economy. And there the wall finally goes down here for Future. And the supply. Oh, the supply tells the tale. 62 to 43. That 44 to 29 worker advantage here for True. That's going to be what separates True in this game. And it's all from that really early open aggression, but Future opting to play really, really greedy kind of pays for it in the end. So now it's going to come down to what Future decides to do to counteract this. 1-1 Lings are in production, so it's going to be a little while before this is actually ready to roll. But Marines are good. Marine, good unit. If you pair that with just a couple of tanks and a couple of Hellions, that can mean some really good things here for Future, but he does have an uphill battle to climb. Medevacs are on the way as well. Pumping those out 2 at a time, and now it's just going to turn into basically just kind of a really poor 16 Marine push timing. It's hitting just really late, about 45 seconds behind where it should. It could still be devastating if True is not prepared. The Hellions are going to go deal a little bit of distraction damage down on the lower right-hand side, while the real meat of the army here is coming up on the top side. Hellions are going to scooch into the third base here and try and draw the Lings over. Oh, get a nice little wedge here where they can deal some damage to the Lings. But here comes the main drop up by the 4th and I guess subsequently 5th base. Just now seeing that True managed to clear that out. He actually does get a kill on that 5th hatchery. That is not a cancel. He also gets a 4th? What are we missing here? That's 600 minerals just tossed away. Marines are going to continue pushing up forward here. The Banelings aren't just quite done. He does pick up another Queen and an Overlord and manages to pick up, and he picks up every single Marine. He did not lose. He's now lost 1 Marine because he was trying to get a big detonate on the Banelings here, but gosh, I just don't quite understand what actually happened here. That's wild. Second set of medevacs comes in with more Marines and one tank, but the tank doesn't have a chance to really get sieged up before it can do any major damage. A lot of the Banelings go down, and now it's just Marines left that are slightly stimmed, but True just doesn't have any forces. He's forced to pull off of the mineral line here. Workers are going to go down while they try and evacuate, and they're actually trying to body block for the Queen. Queen does manage to go down anyways because, surprise, guns have range limits. And Future is just getting a ton of damage done. Banelings get picked off here before they're able to hatch, and these Marines are just going to have an insane amount of kills, each Marine having upwards of 7, 8, 9 kills, and the drone count kill, is just disgusting. Meanwhile, Future is just moving across the map, and what looked like a bleak opener for Future has just snowballed into an incredibly strong timing here that True is just not going to be able to get away from. And GG is called, and Future admittedly taking the very surprising game number 1. Wow. I cannot say I expected that to happen that way. I can't say that I did. But GG, good play by Future, really not allowing himself to get shaken here at all. And, you know, hey, more power to him. Feels good when you can execute that build and just kind of hang on. All right, take a look at the chat for me, guys. We do have some great links that you guys can check out here. You can check out our Twitter, twitter.com/alphaxsc2. We've got that Matcherino link. That's the really, really important one, guys. Feel free to hit that link up in between games. Alpha Pro Series 56. That's the coupon code that you need to contribute your 50 cents to our prize pool. Now, remember, this is a free contribution. This does not cost you a thing. If you're not familiar with Matcherino, there are a bunch of great people that help support esports crowdfunding at its finest, and we could not do this without them. And they offer us these amazing coupon codes to let us help fund these games. So we do need to use these codes, guys. Feel free, everybody. I got 35 people in the chat right now hanging out with us. Thanks so much for joining us. This is the Alpha X Pro Series number 56 between True and Future. Click that link if you want to check out some really cool apparel as well. We have a great partnership with Sector 6 Apparel. You can feel free to click that link as well. Got a lot of cool stuff out that you can take advantage of. I personally eyeballing that jersey, but you know, it's a little cold here. I'm in the Midwestern United States. There's snow on the way. Ugh, tired of winter. I'm ready for those nice, warm, relaxing days in the spring and the summer we can all look forward to. Sorry, just catching a little bit of a drink here as we get ready for game number 2. We're going into Cyber Forest. Again, our map pool is going to go alphabetically, and I'm not going to put it all up just in case for some reason they decide, oh, well, you know, let's just go out of order, because that happens sometimes. Oh, guys, it's nice to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free, let me know in the chat. I do speak English. Sorry, I got to work up on my Korean. I do not have a very good grip on written Korean for sure, but let me know where in the world you are coming from tonight or today, depending on where you're at. I think, what is it? It is already Monday morning in Korea, if I remember correctly. No, Sunday morning. You guys are a day ahead of us. Half a day. Something like that. But yeah, let me know where you guys are coming from. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to hop into game number 2 here in just a brief second. All right, here we go. We are jumping into Cyber Forest LE, spawning in the top left-hand corner. This is our blue Zerg playing for Psystorm Gaming. This is True. And spawning in the bottom right. He's up 1-0. He's looking to extend his lead. Playing for Infinity Gaming, this is our Red Terran player, Future. So I'm finding it a little interesting here that we see True in a position where he actually didn't take game number 1. I was actually really surprised. He managed to deal a lot of damage early on to Future, who played a very, very greedy style against his opponent that is knowingly very cheesy and aggressive. So I'll be curious to see what Future decides to do on this game. He's opting to do a little bit more standard here, getting the barracks all the way up first and then going into a command center. But Cyber Forest tends to be a little bit of a smaller map. So if I map it here for you, here's the natural of True. It is really not a very long run, even for slow lings. Slow lings can probably be at your doorstep. Gosh, 15, 20 seconds tops. And you definitely don't want to oversell yourself in the, oh, well, I can protect it. It's a small ramp, so yeah, it's a really easy block off here. But True is a man of many lings. And if he's not careful, if Future's not careful, he's going to find many of those lings ravaging his base. But this game, True's opting to go for roaches. Has the double gas down, so this is going to be a nice little roach timing here out of True. He banks up a lot of the larva, holds off on even the queen production. Doesn't have a queen out on the field either. And it's going to be a big investment into Roach Ravager. On this small ramp, this actually can be really effective, especially since the reactor and the subsequent tech lab that will probably go down are easily in range of the Ravager Biles. Not to mention the supply depots are incredibly vulnerable as well. Here come the Ravager Morphins, 3 on the way right now. I think that is where True's going to leave it, because he's going to need the subsequent gas to keep getting those roaches out onto the field. Although it looks like he's kind of halted that production right now, so we might see another Ravager go down. Yep, and there it is. So he's gonna have 4 Ravagers. 4 Ravager Biles will be able to do a lot. Future now sees what's happening here, so he has to react to this. And what is gonna be the response? Widow Mines, but is it going to be enough? The first supply depot does go down. A bunker's on the way, but it's never gonna finish. That worker gets picked off almost immediately. Going to get the second depot down, and that's all it's gonna be. True manages to take a game at number 2. GG is called, and now we find ourselves with an even up series. Very, very well done. All right. So Kairos Junction. It's going to be our game number 3 here for the Alpha X Pro Series number 56. I kind of thought this was going to be a nice little back and forth here between our players. And I think we're going to get that. We're going to get exactly that expectation here. Ooh. Alrighty, cool. So, sorry. Sometimes we have to handle administrative work. We got a great team here with Alpha X. We got so many casts going right now. If English isn't your language of choice, we've got a Latin American Spanish cast. We usually have a German cast. We got a lot of great people helping out, making sure this event goes off without a hitch. And we all work together and talk a lot and make sure that we don't goof things up. So thank you so much for being so patient when things get a little bit quiet. We're going to hop into game number 3 here on Kairos Junction. If there's ever a lull and you're going, geez, I wish I could do something in between these games, click those links above in the chat. Check out that Matcherino. The Matcherino, that's the important one, guys. We'll walk you through exactly what we need to do here in just a moment, but right now we are getting into game number 3. Oh, this is not a best of 3. This is a best of 9. Here we go. We're jumping into Kairos Junction, spawning in the bottom right our red Zerg. Oh, the colors are switching up on me. Oh my gosh. It's our red Zerg player from Psystorm Gaming. This is True. And spawning in the top left, our blue Terran. He's tearing it up. Playing for Infinity Gaming. This is Future. All right. So I'll be curious to see if at some point in this series, Future decides to do something incredibly cheeky. Like maybe a proxy or maybe a battle cruiser rush. Oh my gosh. Did everybody check out GSL last night? Oh, I will not spoil anything other than the fact that we saw battle cruisers. Ah, so good. Again, I'm not going to tell you what series. I know GSL is very sacred. People are passionate about their spoilers when it comes to GSL. But battle cruisers. So maybe we'll see Future bump some of those out in our series tonight. But we'll have to wait and see. Future opting to go for a Reaper this time. He's been doing a really, really safe play by just going for the Marine opener just to prevent any shenanigans. But now we're going to see a little bit of Reaper action here. So Future is going to come in. He's going to get the initial scout here with the SCV, just trying to make sure, okay, that he doesn't have a 12 pool on his hands, and then he's got to leave the Reaper at home. So Reaper is going to be able to move across the map here. Oh gosh, guys, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Reaper's going to come in and do just a little bit of harassment. The Lings are caught actually just a little bit out, as is the Queen. So there is nothing here at this mineral line. So these drones are going to be under a little bit of fire here, but it's not going to be too long before everything comes back. One drone. He gets a drone. What a madman. So, a little bit of poor control by True. Oh. Not quite getting the block off on that extractor. So, one more drone will survive. But one kill? That's not terrible. That's not terrible. But meanwhile, back at home, it is going to be a 2-1-1 here out of Future. So, True's going to have a little bit of room to drone. It's going to be interesting to see if he picks up on this. The third hatchery is going to go down just a little bit late, dealing with the Reaper harassment. Just a little bit. So, I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. But we are going to see a little bit more of that bio play here. And I guess, well, we might. Could be saving the... Oh, nope, there's Stem. Good. I always try and go with my gut on this one. I'm a Zerg player at heart, and when I see 2-on-1, it's usually 99 times out of 100 it's going to be Stim Bio. But there's always that one time. There's always that one time. Oh, that Reaper going to finally get picked off here. It doesn't scout anything too crazy. But yeah, True is just able to free drone right now. Currently has 2-base saturation, going to work on the Roach Warren here at the front. Roach is going to be a good response here to the 2-1-1. As we've got some medevacs coming out here. Yep, so we're just been looking at a 16 Marine timing. Queen count is getting pretty strong. It's got a couple more queens on the way as well, but actually doesn't have any dealing any injects right now. So, interesting. Okay, there go the queens. Third hatchery is now done. So we should start seeing a few more drones. Yes, 6 more drones on the way, but 8 roaches as well. So this is going to be a rather interesting timing here for True. The Marines are done. Going to pick off the Overlord. He's going to supply block True actually for a little bit of time, and he just does not. He hasn't registered this. Now finally the Overlord goes down. But we know that the medevacs are out on the field. Medevacs are not loaded either. So I think he's trying to bait True into... I think if he had a scout, he's trying to bait him in a different direction. But nope, these Marines... Oh, we got one lonely Marine. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever see. Marines are going to push on forward here, try and clean up a little bit of creep, pick off any overlords that are hanging out a little bit too far away. But the Roach is going to push forward, and this is going to be too much to deal with. He's just going to pick up and leave for now. And the Ling count is skyrocketed for True. 1-1 melee plus Carapace is also on the way. So Roaches are not the end-all be-all here. I think the Roaches are just a good protection against the potential for Hellions morphing into Hellbats, because that's a really strong timing in TVZ right now, where the Terran player still goes into bio, but has 6 Hellbats that just absolutely shut down your economy, and you shut down your game if there is only Lings and Queens out on the map. 1-1 is about to finish up here. It's about 75% done, and tanks are going to be rallied as well. The third base is actually just finishing completion here, so it's going to be coming up in just a second here as an orbital that will fly over onto location. Baneling Nest is on the way as well, as True's done a really nice job of kind of holding this off. A couple more creep tumors are going to get picked off as the Lings swoop in, start pushing things away. The Marines are rather damaged, so they're not going to get a whole lot accomplished at this particular point in time. As a fourth base, just a macro hatch is now completing, but the actual fourth base is now going down here at the lower position. Third base is on the way to site as well, and Future's going to be able to, I think he should be able to saturate that pretty quick. Yeah, he's got a majority of what he needs right there. Ling's continuing to keep the Marine harassment at bay for Future, and Future's just really not able to get a whole lot accomplished here. True just seems to have the answer at any given point. Even in this scenario where he wants to tease the fourth base and draw the Lings down to the low ground so he can say, haha, I was going to drop your main the whole time. He just has every little answer going for him right now. But fourth base is going to be where the pressure starts coming up as well. And what's going to be the response here? I mean, Future really isn't going into anything too drastically devastating or interesting, for that matter. Just staying on his Marine count, slowly getting up that tank count. I guess he's waiting for True to try and show his hand on what he actually wants to go for here in tech. And right now, it seems to continue to be Roaches and Ravagers and Lings. Baneling speed is just now finishing, and 18 Banelings are on the way. So this is going to be True's moment to get aggressive on to Future. But I think Future's got the tank count where he can at least hold this off. He doesn't have any upgrades on the tanks, so they're not super strong. But good placement, they're nice and spread out across all of the different bases here. And I think that it's going to be enough to at least hold True to a decent trade, rather than something that's going to get out of hand too quickly. But as I say that, it's a lot of Lings. It's a lot of Lings, boys and girls, and helicopters alike. Tanks are going to continue coming out here, getting more and more to the point where he's going to be able to just move across the map, and he's actually getting ready to make that decision right now. All the tanks on siege, and he's going to start moving. Does scan the fourth base just to see how much is actually drone saturated at that base. Try and see if he can get any damage done. Few more Marines here, just trying to pick off whatever they can. And now it looks like everything's going to try and pass in the night, but Future catches wind of this, gets a good scan down, but none of his tanks are sieged. This is going to be a really devastating moment here for True. Oh, True's able to just come on in. He picks off 98% of the tanks. There's one tank there back behind the wall, but he just isn't able to protect it at all. And the Lings are able to just spill forward. Lings everywhere. This Ravager composition is going to get picked up eventually, but this is not going to be stopped. Yeah, I was going to say 3-3 is going to be prevented here, and True has just done way too much damage. GG is called. And True picking up game number 3, bringing himself to a 2-0 victory. Rock on. Now this is what I expected to see out of True in game number 1. Guess it just took him a game to get warmed up or something. So we're going to be going to King's Cove next. Future down 1-2. This is now where, in my head, I start seeing Future start going through. Okay. What kind of aggressive builds can I do? True does have a point where he is weak while he is getting himself set up for his first major push. I think if Future can exploit that, he's got a chance to beat True at his own game. So if True's your big fan, he's gonna need your help in the chat. So make sure to cheer for him loud and proud. If you guys want to check out more about Alpha X, you can check us out at our Twitter, twitter.com/AlphaXSC2. If you really like apparel, you like wearing cool stuff, one of these times I'm gonna get something like other than just like a normal jacket, and see if we can rep some of that Sector 6 apparel, a great sponsor of Alpha X. You can see their logo on all of our different screens here, and you can click that link to check out the different apparel that we have going for Alpha X. But most importantly, check out that Matcherino link, Alpha Pro Series 56. That's the code that you need to donate your free 50 cents to our prize pool. Again, free. It's like you reach into your pocket, pull out 2 quarters right there. Just what do I do with them? Do I buy something? We could. Do I give it to charity? You could also do that. Or you could contribute that to your 2 favorite StarCraft 2 players from North America, True and Future. Well, True's from Korea, but he lives in America. You could do it. Give it a thought. Click that link, check it out. It's definitely worth going for. But here we are going into game number 4. We're jumping into King's Cove. Guys, we're going to need a little bit of audience participation here. We need your help. Oh, wait, I did it backwards. In getting everybody hyped up here. So let's go in the chat. Let's see if you can help me out with this. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of King's Cove LE, our Blue Zerg. Give it up for Sice Storm Gaming's True. And spawning in the top left, the man, the myth, the legend. Playing for Infinity Gaming, our Red Terran player, this is Future. And the Future's looking bright. Looking bright for Future here. So I'm not going to sit here and go, nah, I told you so, but this seems like a natural reaction from a man who is just had 1 million Zerglings pushed into his base. Just seems like an appropriate response. True is going to be ready for this. He went pool first, as he has with all of these games. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Sometimes when you drink fizzy water, it catches up with you really, really quick. So my apologies for that. The second hatchery is going to go down here, and it's going to be a big stand. It's just a 2 racks aggression, though. So this is very important. So the 2 racks is usually a little less committal. It's going to be Reapers, by the way. So this isn't going to be a big Marine push timing. I'll be curious to see if the bunker still goes down. I think it will. Yep, there goes 1. Where's the second? Oh, but he's going to need the Reapers over here shortly. This is getting dicey. There's just absolutely... Oh, God. Totally focusing on gameplay. Okay, 1 Reaper's finally done. I feel like he should have more than that right now. Okay, so the bunker's going to continue getting produced here. 1 Ling goes down. Is he going to be able to pick off the second Ling? I think so. Yes, it does. Does indeed go down. Future needs to put down a second barret or a second bunker here if he wants it. And there he finally goes. This one will be in range of the hatchery. should the Reapers be able to survive. And right now, they are. Roaches are the response here, and that's actually a really great response. 6 roaches are on the way. I'm going to tell you what unit are not really good against roaches. Reapers. Reapers are not very good against roaches. But they're going to do a little bit of work against this hatchery, and once the roaches pop out, immediately jumping into the bunker. Third bunker is on the way. More Reapers will be coming out here, so Future's currently up to 5. 5 Reapers out on the map. Some Ravagers here are going to be able to make quick work of these bunkers. They're just not going to be able to heal fast enough. And this is all but shut down. Oh, tried to get a salvage off on a couple of them. Dealt some pretty decent damage to a few of the Roaches and Ravagers here, but really just didn't accomplish a whole lot. So now the Reapers are going to do what the Reapers do best, and that's being incredibly annoying at all of the places where your Roaches aren't. And that's about all Future can do right now. So right now, he's kind of in limbo. Gonna follow this up with some Cyclones, going into that 1-1-1 approach here. Reapers continuing to be annoying. Again, doing what they do best, just running around and being annoying. More Ravagers being morphed in here for True, and I think this is going to be a good push timing for True. I mean, True's up 24-8 in the army account. And again, Reapers, while, yes, they are annoying, and yes, they can, that amount can take out a large number of workers pretty fast. If you leave a couple of Roaches back at home, should easily be able to take care of them in the long term. I think you just march across the map with the rest of your everything. And then it's just like, oh, hi, you didn't have a whole lot here. Oops, I'll just kill you then. So Tech Lab's really exposed. You kill that Tech Lab with a couple of Bile Drops, suddenly you can't build tanks anymore, you can't build any Cyclones anymore, some of the natural predators of the Roach Ravager, but Ravagers are going to make quick work of the Reapers just all by themselves. So now, True's in a really good spot. He's managed to drone behind this as well. So being really brave, not getting too out of sorts. But again, this is a man who lives in chaos. So I can't say that anything's going to get him too out of sorts in this game. But now we're going to move into just kind of a really, really awkward limbo here where Future has to pick the absolute right units to use to make sure that he doesn't just auto die to this giant Roach Ravager ball that inevitably is going to be coming across the map. Banshees are a good choice here, and Banshee Cloak is just now finishing up. So if anything's going to do it, it will be Banshees, but the Banshee's going to be immediately scouted here. And now we're going to see how much damage she's able to get done. Good drone micro here and Queen micro by True, not allowing those drones to just freely die. Yeah, and those are going to be in great position as well. So this Banshee's not going to get a whole lot of work done as it sits right now. And what does Future even have going for him right now? He's working up into bio. No Medivacs. His +1 and Stim on the way. So he's not in a terrible location. But he just doesn't have a whole lot. Again, if True just decided to move across the map, it's just game over. Just does not have enough. One tank's not going to be enough. Second tank's on the way. Ooh, 2 tanks though. 2 tanks, too good. That's what I always hear. Third base is allowed to finish here for True. Oh, I was going to say, he's got to be careful. That Banshee's really low. So continuing to deal more and more damage. Yeah, one Banshee's going to have to go home. Ooh, does get 1 Queen. So that's actually a really nice pickup. Because the more and more this Banshee hangs out here, the longer it's going to be until he's able to effectively drone this. And it's bought him enough time here to get 2 Medivacs full of Marines over and across. This is actually a really big target here. Marines with Stim can easily knock this down And that's a lot of drones as well. Future picks off a base and 13 drones. He's suddenly back in this game. And we're going to look at a repeat of game number 1. And that's exactly what he's going to go for here. This is going to get scouted right away. Drone gets picked off almost immediately. And yep, he's just going to immediately target it down. He will not get the drones, which is not great, but he does pull most of the army out of position here. So he's going to get 2 more queens for his trouble, and now he's going to try and go after this drone line. Oh, just gets pulled over to the roaches. Let's pick up a Ravager for his trouble. And that's actually a really nice engagement here for Future. He didn't, like I said, he didn't take out the drone count. Got 2. But taking out that 3rd base and denying the expansion to a 4th, that's incredible. It's an incredible choice. So, Future giving himself a little bit of breathing room here, at least keeping himself in the game, bare minimum. Factory and the barracks swap places, so combat shields is going to be out on the way, and Future's going to continue trying to do damage. And this is exactly what gave him the advantage, and ultimately the win in game number 1 was just being incredibly annoying, keeping True from just massing those units. I mean, we saw in game number 3 how, game number 3. Game number 2 was the Roach Ravager timing, but in game number 3, we saw how effective Future was when he prevented True from being able to just mass his units over and over, and how effective True can be when he's allowed to just freely build units. So 4 tanks, a bunch of Marines, and a Cyclone. Well, I say beggars can't be choosers. This isn't your grandma's army, but you know, it's gonna have to do. Tanks are gonna get some nice shots off on the main bulk of the army, so it is gonna soften it up right away. Gonna start leapfrogging these tanks forward 2 by 2. And that's going to be starting to put pressure on the 4th base position. The drones are going to have to start walking away here soon, but right now they're going to continue bravely long-distance mining. Can't say that I fault him for trying. Future doesn't think this is the right opportunity, so he's just going to back off here, and he's going to secure his 3rd base transfer. His Future wants to see himself get into this game, but this is where True's going to start thriving. True's at the point here where he's not being harassed constantly, he's not getting dropped at every other base location, and he's allowed to freely just kind of work and keep his brain occupied on macro. There's a lot of Zerg players that thrive in the crazy micro, but True actually does do a nice job with getting into longer form games, getting those big armies up, and just crashing everything into his opponents. So True should never be counted out when it goes past the 10-minute mark. Definitely brings a lot of that Korean practice into his gameplay here when we play North American style games. So those of you that are screaming, oh, he's going full NA Zerg. No, not quite. Not quite, my friends. Spire is completed. He's actually getting +1 here. What did he pick up for Spire units? He hasn't gotten anything yet. I didn't think so. I have a feeling we're going to see Corruptors. Although he does like his mutas. And it's very, very possible with Baneling speed that we could see a whole bunch of mutas pop out. He definitely has the gas stowed up for it. And he's just crossed 1,000 gas. That's 10 mutas. It's 10. Right there. We're going to see him? Gosh, I hope so. All right, so 3rd base is completely saturated here for Future, and he's got a nice amount. There's the 10 mutas. Called it. Oh my gosh! Sometimes as a caster, you feel like you have superpowers of like the Future sight. No pun intended, because I have a player named Future. Really nice stutter step micro here out of Future, picking off most of those Banelings, only losing a couple of Marines. But here come the Lings. The tanks are in great position and just absolutely shred the Lings sitting at the bottom of the ramp. None of those Lings are able to connect with the army there. But the mutas are going to bring a new level of complication to this army. There's a lot of Marines. +2. Armor is actually just about to finish here, so that is going to be a good pickup here. Oh, this is going to be a nice revenge attack, though. There were a bunch of tanks the first time those Lings went up. Now there's only 1. So as True starts to notice that this army is here, he's going to try and get this revenge damage with both the Lings and the Mutas, and there's just not that much here. The Lings by themselves won't get picked up, but it's going to be the Mutas that deal a lot of the damage as Future starts to come in here, and we've got attacks on both fronts here. Mutas do get all picked off, and the Marines are going to sit in the mineral line and make sure that he doesn't just freely lose workers to those Mutas. The Mutas are going to be forced back home here to deal with the tanks and the Marines. Tanks getting some really nice shots off on these Ravagers and Roaches, and the Banelings are only now joining the fight, but there's just a whole lot of damage. There's just not a lot to soak up damage to protect those Banelings from connecting with their intended targets. Mutas are still pretty vulnerable as well, as the tanks are able to deal with the ground damage, and there's not enough Banelings to make the Marine count really suffer in protecting either against the ground or the air. A couple of more tanks sitting up here at the top, and Future's just got a really good siege position. It's not allowing True to freely wrap around him and cause a lot of trouble. And these tanks are just going to slowly leapfrog their way forward. And as they do, they're going to continue connecting and making more and more of these Roaches and Ravagers pay. But now the rocks are down on the north side here, and what I expected to be a Future surround here is actually just going to be a cutoff to the reinforcement line. Tank never is able to get sieged up, so it is going to go down, but all of the Roaches do get picked off in the process. So the Mutas find that their best target is going to be those tanks, but now the tanks are all protected by the Marines. Oh, big amount of Banelings and Zergling finally had enough in there to take care of business, and the tanks are not able to get the work done on the Banelings that they need to, but the Mutas find themselves being fodder to the machine guns of the Marines. And what looks to be a very, very nice pickup for True, cleaning up all of the tanks, actually leaves himself a little high and dry with not a whole lot to speak of. The 4th base did finally go down. 5th and 6th are actually already in play, but I have a feeling that we're not even going to see those get saturated because he just isn't able to protect his 3rd base. Ooh, does get a nice pick off on the tanks that were coming down across the alley. So it's going to be a little while longer before he's going to have the staying power he needs to continue pushing True, but he's going to feel confident enough to move in on this 3rd base. Is going to kind of gun it down, and the 3rd base does fall here, but not before a whole lot of damage is dealt to the army. Nice little wraparound here with the Lings coming from the north and the east, but the Marines are able to do a lot of damage. The Mutas are finally going to be able to clean this up, but the supplies tell the tale, 135 to 98, and that army count is half for True that it is for Future. Adrenal glands are on the way for True, so he's hoping to continue dealing more and more damage with these Lings, and honestly, as long as Future stays on just Marine tank, these Lings are going to continue to get really, really good damage done along with the Mutalisks. Mutalisks are going to fly over to the 4th base, which is actually just an orbital. So I'm actually surprised that True is coming up here into the 3rd base and dealing with the Marines when he's just got a full amount of workers to deal with right there. There's just absolutely nothing. And now finally the Mutas say, oh, hey, look at this. It's a free buffet here. But here's why. Future's focused all the way over here and pulling True as well. These tanks are going to be able to siege up here and protect the choke, and also cut off the reinforcement lines for both, actually all 3 bases here. The main is not able to get anything accomplished. GG is finally called, and Future takes this one out and brings himself back to 2-2 in this best of 9. So, very, very well done here by both of our players. Nicely done. All right. New Repugnancy is going to be our game number 5 here. Guys, we are going to take the briefest of breaks. I'm going to grab a drink of water here and get ourselves set up into game number 5. Don't go anywhere. This is the Alpha X Pro Series number 56 between True and Future. Hit up those links in the chat, especially that Matcherino. Make sure to donate your free 50 cents to our prize pool. That goes straight to our players. We will be right back right after this. All right, we are back. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out tonight. We got a great group of people here in the chat. Thank you so much for posting and sharing your excitement. This is a great series here. It's the Alpha X Pro Series number 56. My name is Rushy, and I am your guide on the English cast for this evening. We have got ourselves a series. And it is going to continue here into game number 5. This is a best of 9. So both of these players are working towards their 5th win in this series. And they both have a little ways to go, but if it's up to this man, he'll try and take it as quickly as possible, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of New Repugnancy. This is our red Zerg player for Psystorm Gaming. This is True. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, our blue Terran playing for Infinity Gaming. This is Future. Alrighty. So, it's going to be interesting to see what we have happen here in game number 5. Game number 5 is already seeing a little bit of a different change here for Future in the fact that he's going for 2 barracks right away at his home base. And this is the one game where True decides to go hatch first. Interesting. So Future's going to be putting on the pressure here early in this game. And this is another one of those maps where the distance is not incredible. I mean, it's enough. But if this ends up being a Reaper rush, which is what I expected it to be, those Reapers can be across the map here in kind of no time flat. So I'll be interested to see how Future manages to pull this off. Second gas is going to go down, so the Reaper production is going to be in full swing. And wants to make sure that he does not sell himself short on the gas production, and a 3rd barracks goes down. So True's going to spot this. However, this could just look normal, if you will. This could just look like a normal 2-1-1. Because all True sees is he doesn't see this up here. And he does just see the 2 barracks. Could just be a 2-1-1 with a really early Reaper. Nothing too crazy here. At least not yet. It's when we start adding more and more of those Reapers moving across the map that True's got to have alarm bells going off in his head going, uh-oh, something not right. Queens are going to pop out and aid in the defense here and actually get some really nice connections on the 1 Reaper. So the Reapers are going to have to push away here for just a brief amount of time. 3rd Reaper is on the way. 3 Reapers in production all at once. True has to know that this is now not normal. This is not normal play out of Future. So the response here, Ling speed is just about on the way. Third base is actually going down for True. And I think, gosh, I'm just not sure. He's not going to be able to get enough DPS to really deal with this hatchery in a logical fashion. Maybe efficient is the better word. But Ling speed finally finished. Gonna try and get the wraparound. Oh, he actually almost gets it. He almost gets the hatchery. And now the Reapers are in a little bit of trouble, but he does pick off a good amount of the Lings. So he's gonna try and take off the rest of this hatchery here. And I think if he is diligent, oh gosh, he gets so close. He's gonna just go for the natural mineral line instead. And he's dealing a really nice amount of damage. At bare minimum, if he's not getting a lot of economic damage done, he is at least limiting the amount of mining time that these workers are able to accomplish. And at bare minimum, he's made a huge target out of this hatchery. So True's going to have to be really careful about moving these Lings out onto the map. It will only take half of a second. Not literally, but figuratively, these Reapers can just jump right on in and just absolutely nuke it down. And with good micro, these Reapers are going to be able to just get away. Like, just almost 100%. Oh, especially when they juke and jive. And he's still just going 3 Reapers at a time. What an incredibly cheesy formula that Future's put together here for True. True currently just working on his Ling production right now. Third base is going back down. +1 on the way. +1 Reapers against Lings. I can't even say that I know how effective that would be. I just know that this many Reapers just gets to be silly. Especially if True does not decide to go into roaches. And he doesn't at this point. He's just deciding to get that evolution chamber. Probably going to have +1. I imagine +1 Carapace would be my guess. Scan will go down here and pick off just a few more of the creep tumors. And this is where the power of the mines and the Reapers are going to start coming into play. As many, many, many of the Reapers do go down, but so do many of the Lings. 7 Reapers are now in production. Future has gone full NA. He's gone full NA, ladies and gentlemen. So, +1 Carapace is on the way for these Lings. So, in about a minute or so, these Lings will have a lot more fighting power against the Reapers. If anything, against the Reaper grenades. They don't just get popped up and damaged for free. But yeah, 7 Reapers at a time. And he's adding on more barracks. 3 more barracks coming out. We're going to be moving to 10 Reapers at a time? Oh, Future. Future, this is just full NA, my friend. More of those grenades are going to go down, and there's plenty where that came from. So he's going to try and pick off the 1 queen. He's just so close. I think if he dives in on it, he could get both of them without really risking himself too terribly much. Gets a good transfuse on the high health queen. And the Reapers are forced to pull back, but they're just waiting for reinforcements at this point. 4th base goes down for True. Scan goes down here. More and more creep tumors are going to get picked off. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, if these Lings are smart, they'll try and get a nice little wraparound. Get a couple. Every little bit makes a difference here at this point. But True's kind of caught. He's not entirely sure what he should or should not do. If he commits fully with these Lings and he doesn't get a good trade, the Reapers are just going to be able to devastate him back at home, as there's still just not a whole lot to deal with the Reapers. But the Lings are slowly starting to become overwhelming. We're reaching a point where there's just too much to deal with it. And I apologize. I just realized that my headphone audio wasn't on. So my apologies to you if it sounded really, really, really quiet. At least you guys got to hear me talk. As these Reapers get an incredibly tight choke at the top of the ramp, and they're just able to fire freely without dealing any damage to the back line. He doesn't even use any grenades to risk bumping everything, and all of those Lings go down. Every last one. Wow, what an incredibly tight choke that Future created. And now the mineral line is just going to be exposed, and these Reapers are just going to go to town. +1 doing work here for Future. The Queens are all going to get picked off here. The hatchery isn't even finished being a lair. These Banelings could make the difference, though. He's got to be really, really careful that he doesn't just lose. But I think he can abuse the ledge here and deal enough damage where the Banelings are not going to be able to be a part of the discussion, because they're still slow Banelings. 28 Lings are on the way, but I feel like Future has done what he needs to. Oh my gosh. And I mean, meanwhile, he's still rallying 10 Reapers at a time. He just has accomplished so much here and has been able, the splits, be really careful. The Banelings do connect, but they don't connect with enough. GG is finally called, and True manages to take game, Future manages to take game number 5 off of True. So, GG. My apologies for the headphone audio, guys. Thought I had that all undone. I don't have the headphone audio too terribly high because the music starts to get a little bit in the way if we're not careful. But I suppose we can bring it up to a little bit more. Let me know in the chat if this is better, worse, or about the same. I'm always trying to make sure that we have a great cast for all of you. Really do appreciate you guys being here. And while I am not a professional caster, I do my best to give you guys a good experience. So thank you so much for joining us and hanging out. We're going to get into game number 6 here. It's going to be on Port Alexander. True is down 2-3. Future's got to win a couple more games here before he's done. It's the first of 5 wins. This is a best of 9. So we're not completely down and out just yet. But we are starting to turn a corner here with both of these players. This is a great opportunity, guys, to check out our Matcherino. Click the link up at the top to contribute your 50 cents. Sound and music is a little loud. Oh. Wow. We'll turn that guy back down then. How does that sound? Last surprise, thank you. Oh, and thank you for the compliment. I do appreciate that. Makes me feel good. Like I said, I kind of just do this for fun. I really enjoy casting. Who knows? If I ever got in a position where I could do this for a living, it'd be fun. Totally be good. Sit here and talk to myself and get paid money. I'm sure my roommates would absolutely love that. Oh, but here we go into game number 6. Thank you so much for the feedback, guys, and thank you so much for hanging out. Let your friends know. Get them in here. This is a great series. This is definitely worth being here for. Game sound wasn't on for the other games. RIP. Guys, don't tell my mom. She's going to just get upset with me. And then she could yell at me. No, I don't live with my mom anymore. I haven't done that for a long time. Oh, Missidic. No. We're going to be patient. We're going to bounce out of this game. Meh. All right, I guess we'll call it. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. It's our blue Zerg. He's looking to pick up another game. Doesn't want to get too far behind his opponent. This is Psystorm Gaming's True. And spawning in the top left, our red Terran. He's up 3-2. He wants to get 2 more wins. He wants to walk away with money. Lots of money, guys. Lots of money on the line. Hit that Matcherino up. Look at Alpha Pro Series 56. It's our red Zerg playing for Infinity Gaming. This is a red Terran. Future. I think I said red Zerg. Guys, I'm tired. It's been a long day. But Rashi, you've only been casting for an hour. Hey, you settle down back there. Tired of the peanut gallery, always getting up in my face about how great of a streamer I am, and then telling me how bad I am. It's something I totally deserve, but just can't deal with it. Nah, it should be good. Let me know how the audio is right now. Because OBS says that I have headphone audio. I guess, well, headphone for me. And I can hear the game audio. But I guess I want to know if you guys can hear the game audio. Oh, look at this boring game here. Look at this boring opening here. Oh, yep, going into a Reaper, going into a Marine. Totally fine, totally normal. Future deciding that, hey, you know what? I got a lead in this series. We're just gonna go for a 1-1-1. Totally fine. True, on the other hand, wants to sneak some lings around the map. So Reaper's gonna show up and see that it was a pool first opening, which is not, I mean, it's not a terrible thing, but these lings could cause a lot of problems here. The Reaper's not at home, and one Marine is not going to do enough damage. But Drew, there's a worker right here. Go after the worker. There he is. Good Zerglings. This is going to be a lot of damage here for Future. Future brings down a lot of workers here to make sure that this command center gets done. Maybe the music's a little loud, but who doesn't want the smooth rock? It's true. The Terran music in this game is pretty good. Let's see. Maybe we can back the music off. Just a little bit. All right. There we go. Yeah, last surprise. Thanks so much for your help, dude. Last surprise. Very, very good. Proxy Tempest player. Or player for a Proxy Tempest tournaments. Would like last surprise. He's a nice guy. Always trying to balance it. Trying to make everything just a little bit nicer. Taking care of business, taking care of you people. That's why I'm here. Liberator's on the way. So we're going into yet another kind of area of our Zerg. We haven't seen a whole lot of mech come out of Future, which is surprising, in my opinion. Lair's already done, so it's actually a really quick lair. We're probably going to see some roach speed happening here as well. And a Nidus network coming out of True. Drew wants so bad to bring this to game number 7. And I think he's going to be able to make it happen here. Future is not entirely aware of what's going down here. He hasn't really gotten a whole lot of information. He did see that the lair started really early. So he might suspect that something is going down. There are roaches on the way here. He doesn't want to throw away too many lings. If he throws away too much, it's going to become a problem. But he does want to try and keep the attention here at the front side of the base of Future. But this Nidus network's going up for free. He has not even registered that this is on the map. But he's going to hear the carrion call. And out come all of the queens, and actually just only 2 roaches, so there's really not a whole lot here. So it'll be interesting here. A couple more queens come to join the fight, and there come more and more of the roaches. This is actually a pretty nice position for True to be in. Those Hellions just really don't do a whole lot of damage to queens, and especially not to roaches. Lings are going to come around on the front side here and start putting pressure on the wall. And actually the wall's down. He could just run right through. But that's okay. That's not the important part here. Queens have a nice amount of energy as well. Workers are going down. Liberator is going to punish here at the main base. But I fear it is not going to be enough. These queens and roaches are going to get a whole lot of work done. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice here on the worker count for Future to even try and hold this. That tank just needs to siege. If it sieges, it'll be so effective. But he doesn't want to risk. Just getting jumped on. Now, finally, the tank's going to siege up once more of this is down. And I think he is just going to be overwhelmed. GG is called, and True bringing this back to even here. 3 matches apiece. Very, very well done. All right, so we are headed to the last map on the pool. It's going to be year 0. I don't even have to look this one up. I remember it. It's going to be year 0. Yeah, I'll just even confirm right there. You can't see it, but I can see it. Year 0 is going to be our next map, and now things are going to get interesting. So, our players agreed to just run these maps in alphabetical order. So, we're just going to run it from the top. Automaton, Cyber Forest, Kairos Junction, Kings Cove, New Repugnancy, Port Alexander, and now Year 0. The next map after Year 0, it's going to be loser's pick from here on out. So, we could potentially see both players have their own pick of these next two maps. Maybe we'll go to a game number 9. I mean, these games have been rather quick. I have set here to be done by 11 and my time, and it's only 10:10. So we've been moving pretty quick. So I would not be offended to see this go to game number 9, and I hope you guys wouldn't be offended either. Let's take a look at the match Torino here, guys. I do want to give some shout-outs to everybody that can help contribute to our cause here. $64 in the tray already. Let's give some shout-outs here. Nemesis, Snoopy, Tails, Alexander Enki. Oh, a whole bunch of Alpha X people. Talis Kuji, No Hotkeys, Zarek, Sunlily, Keith David, Landfear, Sniper, Snap, Alexandro Luzaretta, Jay Skippy, Initial Limit, True. Oh, don't you love it when you can kick into your own prize pool? Lingboy, Guy in chat. He's my favorite. I always love Guy in chat. Some Korean symbols I don't know how to read, but thank you for your contribution. Frago, Jerry Koo. Thank you, everybody, for kicking in to the Alpha Pro Series. I'm actually going to log in myself, make sure that I put my money and my funds where my mouth is. Alpha Pro Series 56. And that's all it took, guys. That's all the faster. It's all the faster it is. You guys are outstanding. Oh boy. If you guys haven't already, we got plenty of codes. Click that link up at the top of the chat and head on over. Alpha Pro Series 56. If you want to check out more Alpha X content, you can head over to our Twitter, twitter.com/AlphaXSC2. If you guys are looking for a home in StarCraft 2, Alpha X is a great team, formerly known as Psionic Aftermath. We started off 2019 with a switch of leadership and team name. So Alpha X is our Phoenix from the grave. And we got a lot of great people. We've got some really good leadership, a lot of fun opportunities. I think every single week we've got team games being played, team tournaments. Every month we host a diamond and lower tournament and a masters and higher tournament. And there's some cash prizes, some bragging rights on the line. All sorts of great opportunities. You can hit us up in the Discord. If you want, let me know in the chat. We can get you hooked up and put into our wonderful Discord server with some wonderful people. And we really appreciate it. We pride ourselves in being one of the larger StarCraft 2 communities in North America and just kind of worldwide, because we got a ton of great people. I've met some really good friends all across the globe. And we want to continue that pride, and continue that growth. And it all starts with you. So hit us up. Let me know in the chat. Although you will have to speak English. I can't read Korean. I'm so sorry. However, it sounds like we're having a great conversation. So I'm not gonna dull your sparkle. I mean, we are over on a Korean server. So I'm not going to complain. Let me know where you guys are from. We're just kind of sitting here. We got a little bit of a break here. Give our players a little bit of a breather. Hi, Alpha. I'm Korean. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I am from North America, from the United States of America. I'm a Zerg player, but I'm a huge Future fan. I, too, enjoy the future. Because if we didn't have a future, what would we have to live for? Nah, Future's a pretty nice guy. Recent Cheeseadelphia winner. So he's definitely got some great ability here. And True, I mean, True's always a good player. Recently played in GSL round of 32. I think he got knocked out. Sorry if that's a spoiler. But we've got some really, really great players here. Looks like our players are just about ready to go again. I think he has potential to be one of the best NA players. I really do. I think so as well. We're going to get to the point where the current juggernauts of the scene are going to be stepping aside. We're going to see their slow descent into StarCraft 2 history. And that just means there's going to be more people to write the history books in the future. No pun intended. We've got Future. Starkiller is actually an Alpha X player. Is a really, really good person for the scene. I actually get to cast with Proxy Tempest, not to do too big of a plug away from my own organization, but I cast a lot with Proxy Tempest and get to cast the North American Open every Thursday night. And we see a lot of really, really great players that are kind of on the cusp of being in the pro scene. Future has spent a lot of time on our casts. Last Surprise is there as well. Last Surprise actually in the chat at one point. He's a very, very accomplished player. Cham as well. Estrella actually just won WCS group. Came out of the group in second. So Estrella moving on to the round of 16 in his first WCS event. Let's go, Estrella! So who else? Who else do we have here that is doing a lot? Trying to think of some of the other names that I see come across. Daydreamer had a very good run this past week in the North American Open. Oh, there's one more. There's a couple more that I've been thinking of, and I just cannot. It's like it's right there on the tip of my tongue. I'm just not there. Estrella is another player that can definitely go a lot of places. Another Alpha X person. Guys, we got a lot of great Alpha X people. I mean, not to brag, but we're pretty amazing. Pretty awesome. But there's a lot of great players out there in the scene. Psystorm Gaming, I mean, they've got True. They've got a ton of outstanding players, both for GSL and for WCS. And that is a happy and healthy sign that our scene is really supporting all of the different players that are available and want to be great and want to keep making StarCraft 2 and the esports scene what it is. So, not quite sure what we're waiting for at this point. So I am going to bounce to my break screen for just a moment, just give myself a little bit of a break. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to jump into game number 7 here really, really soon. This is the Alpha X Pro Series number 56. I'm Rushy. We'll be right back with game number 7 in just a little bit. Stay tuned. Alrighty. Whoop. All right, welcome back. Here we are jumping into game number 7. Game number 7. It's all tied up 3-3. So we're headed to year 0. One of the bigger maps here in the pool. Doesn't look like it, but this has the potential to go deep into the time commitment here. So I think we are ready to jump in. This is the best of 9, guys. So both players still have 2 more games to win apiece if they want to walk away with the lion's shares of today's prize pool. If you got friends, they like StarCraft, get them in here. Get them in this game. Bring them to our stream and let them see our blue Zerg here spawning in the top left-hand corner of year 0. Playing for Psystorm Gaming. This is True. And spawning in the top right of our map. Playing for Infinity Gaming. Our Red Terran player. This is Future. So, as I alluded to, this is one of the bigger maps in the pool. Again, it doesn't quite look like it. Like, the air distance here between each map is actually rather low. So to go from main to main, if Future decided to come out with like Liberators or Vikings to harass, really doesn't have a whole lot to go. You have to go around. Oh, hi, Amon. You have to kind of go around Amon here. But even still, it's still a pretty short map air distance wise. But ground army wise, you gotta kind of run all the way around. So because of that, True decides to opt into a hatch first opener, which is smart. That's just going to give him a lot better economy right out of the gate. And he knows that Future is not going to be in his face too terribly fast because of it. I'm actually almost surprised that Future doesn't decide to go for a command center first and go for that greedy build that he did in game number 1. Because on a map this large and this windy, this would actually really pan out for him. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20. It's really easy for me to sit here and say, oh, well, they could have done this, because I can see the whole map and I know exactly everyone's doing, but they don't. StarCraft's a hard game, guys. Shocker. Shocker of the century. A third base is going to go down really quick for True. And again, this is not surprising in any way, shape, or form. Again, big map, big opportunities, and he can afford to dance around this Reaper for just a little bit of time. Lings are going to come down and be able... Oh. He does manage to get that morphed just in the nick of time. And Queen's going to be popping out here relatively soon. So this should be okay in the long run. Oh, True actually did lose his Overlord here at his main. Okay. So this is actually a little inconvenient for True. That's going to keep him supply blocked here for just a little bit of time. Oh, well, you know, it's fine. Lingtron Patrol here. Oh, Fight Club. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I broke the number 1 rule. My bad. Guys, number 1 rule of Fight Club. Just can't talk about it. There's 7 more drones on the way here. True's finally now not supply blocked, but manages to lose one of his creep tumors to this Reaper. Reaper's going to pay for it with its life. Maybe. 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 Maybe not. Reaper's going to manage to get in and gets a full scout off before he finally pays for it with his life. Now the Hellions are going to be able to deal just a little bit of damage here. And a Liberator's going to come out, and I'm not too surprised about that. Again, that really short air distance is going to be exploitable here for Future. He's going to be able to get stuff across the map really, really quick. This Ling's going to try and get a scout off into the main base, and he is going to see that the tech lab on the starport was in production, but that's just going to be a false flag for the Liberator that's about to pop out. So I'll be curious to see what his response is. Does he believe? I don't think he did. I don't think he bought it. There's no spores going down in any of the bases. So it's not lost drones and not lost mining time. Interesting. Now finally a spore does go down. But these are pretty conservative timings for the spores. Liberator's gonna come in here and start dealing a little bit of harassment. And I mean, the queen's being a little lazy. Doesn't want to accidentally get chunked away. As the focus gets put into the main base, Hellions are going to come down on the bottom side here and deal a little bit of damage. They actually don't find a whole lot of drone kills, but they do kill off most of these Zerglings, which is still nice in of itself, but it's not the damage that you're hoping for, especially when I think he lost the Liberator. That's unfortunate. Yeah, Liberator's gone. So Future not getting the damage that he was hoping to get accomplished here, but it does give him enough time to get that third base up and running. That's going to morph into a planetary, or not planetary, excuse me, an orbital command here in just a brief amount of time. And now it's going to be just a transition into normal bio. Normal bio. I can't remember. I feel like I thought Future was a pretty significant mech player in the previous season. But maybe I remembered incorrectly. Future opting to go for a lot of really nice bio builds. And just kind of keeping it simple. Fourth base going down here for True. As he continues to try and just expand. He's been able to just drone almost freely. He did have that one moment where the Hellions came into the third base and dealt a little bit of pushback damage, but he didn't really kill a whole lot of workers. So he's been able to just drone freely behind this. +1 Carapace is just about now to finish up. Yeah, it's just going to kind of be more of the same. Baneling Nest is on the way. We'll see Baneling Speed coming down here in a short little while. Armory is going to go up here really, really far forward. Going to try and keep an eye on the rocks here, make sure that that does not get picked away. And, that's really interesting. I wonder why the Armory is the choice here. It looks like it's probably got a little more health, and that would make sense. Ooh, Marines are going to find some Queens here and some morphing tumors, so that's going to be a lot of nice damage dealt. The Lings are just going to run right on by. Oh, I pressed the wrong buttons. Lings are just going to run on by as all of the Queens do get picked off. This seems really bold from True. Ooh, Worker's doing a nice job of trying to keep the siege tank alive as it tries to get a couple of pot shots off, but there isn't a whole lot here to protect it. It doesn't get a whole lot of damage done, though. Banelings get picked off here by all of the Marines with really, really good control by Future, and suddenly Future sees himself at a position where he's able to deal a lot of damage. Not a whole lot of damage here dealt by True at Future's third base, but same cannot be said for Future's push here. He didn't get a whole lot of workers, but did put True on the back foot in rebuilding a lot of his army supply at this point. Nope. Doesn't manage to get much of that down. Future starts streaming across the map here with some tanks to include. Scan's going to go down and get some more of the creep tumors. The Lings are going to try and set up here for a little bit of a wraparound, but the tank on the high ground is going to provide just enough protection that is not going to matter. Banelings are only now in production, and it feels really, really late. All of these overlords are just incredibly exposed. This is a big deal. The Lings are going to push on in here and deal a lot of damage, and the tanks are going to be able to just rain down from above. This just feels almost negligent. Oh, he's going to pick up a chunk of those Marines. Tanks are still alive, though. And this is what's going to deal the deadly damage here for Future. Future's going to try and keep pushing his luck here as more Lings do come out. One of the tanks finally does get picked off, and the second tank is also going to get picked off as well. Future's going to have to go home, but Future got the work done that he needed to. And actually, he is not going to go home. More Marines are streaming across the map here. He's managed to keep a majority of his medevacs. So even though they are, a couple of them are low on energy here, they are able to continue staying in the fight and offer support if they do need to lift up and roll away. Banelings are going to get connections on actually a nice amount of the Marines here. He doesn't pick up more than just a couple. So that's actually pretty nice for True. True, who is continuing to just mass Lings as fast as he can hold the Z button down. 2-2 on the way for Future. So Future's not done with the aggression. True's going to try and swing around the bottom hand side here. He really wants to get in the face of Future, who's currently just putting up a 4th base for nothing. It's still just a command center, too. It's not even morphed into anything like a planetary or an orbital. Mostly because I think Future's just trying to pay attention to what's happening here on this side of the map. He's going to pick up, and I bet he's going to try and do a flyby into the main base. This is going to be a nice little doom drop here. These Lings and Banes could deal a lot of damage here if this planetary is not completed in time, but I think all of his attention is going to go here into the main, where the tanks are able to siege up, but not fast enough. They are going to get taken down, but not before Queen gets picked off. But here's where the real damage happens for True. 19 workers going down, 20 workers going down at the 3rd base, and that was almost for free. Outside of the cost of the Banelings that were required to be lost. But that's a lot of economic damage done. 72 workers to 50 in the case of True versus Future in that regard. 5th base isn't quite on its way for True, so Future's not in a terrible spot. But this definitely does put a damper on what he is able to do. The planetary is finally done here at the 4th base, so that will have relative protection. Future will still have to be careful that he doesn't just throw away workers here to this. But I think Future's more worried about kind of pushing in here. He does have the army supply advantage, and he is going to force the issue here at True's main base. The Banelings are going to come on in here and try and connect, but they don't find a whole lot of the soft underbelly of the army. The tanks do get picked off. Most of the Banelings do roll away for now. But now the staying power for Future really just doesn't exist. More Banelings are on the way. More Lings are on the way as well. Ooh, nice connection of Banelings on to the Marines of Future. But there's still a lot of army here. Future's going to scan up into the natural and see all of these Banelings in production. He's going to try and do his best to not lose more Marines, but he struggles with the execution as well. But the Marines are slowly just walking across the map. Marauders are starting to get added to the mix, and meanwhile, as that all happens, True manages to take out the 4th base. This is starting to look dire for Future. The supply count is in his favor, 132 to 105, but if he's not able to end this game shortly, True's going to take the economic advantage and just start counter pushing on the supply count. And that's where Future is. He sees that for what it is. He's going to start putting some more and more pressure on to the natural expansion. Tank's going to siege up and try and cut off the reinforcements here. And if he really, really tries, he can get that down. Oh, but he doesn't target fire the base. Ooh, a big shot off on all of the Banelings. And the tank is able to completely mitigate that damage. And now this is starting to look grim. Baneling Nest is actually put down at the 3rd base here, and it is going to go down. So no more Banelings outside of the 14 being morphed in the natural. The 3rd base is ultimately going to go down here, and this is the damage that Future was looking for. And this is exactly what he needed to do to stay in this game and close it out. Banelings are going to come up here, but this is all that's left for True. Tank's going to take care of a lot of them, and then he sacrifices just a small amount here to get rid of the rest of them. 12 workers going down. The 4th base down at the bottom is going to be exposed, but Future's not even going to take a look at it. Natural base goes down, and this is all but over for True. And this is way too many of my ZVTs, exactly what they look like. You make a quick mistake, and you don't cut off reinforcements, and the Terran just rolls on through. GG is called, and Future moving himself to match point here in our best of 9. So, what is going to come out for our next map pick? So now we're all in the dark. True's going to have the next map pick as the loser of this last game, and it is going to be match point for Future. So I have a feeling we're going to find a short map, and True is probably going to do something a little cheeky. Those are my guess. This is my hot take. But what do you guys think? Who are you cheering for? You're cheering for the Korean Zerg in True? Or are you rooting for the North American Terran Future? Let me know in the chat. Who's got your vote for today's winner? We need to know who to send energy to. And while you do, while you think about that, click that Matcherino link up at the top. Alpha Pro Series 56. Let's get these codes used, guys. We got 98 people in the chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see how many people we can get to use these codes. It doesn't cost you a thing. Free 50 cents to help us pay our players tonight. Give them a chance at as much money as possible. So please help us out. Let us know that you care about esports. You want to save. You want to be today's hero. I'm slowly sitting here, just like trying to decipher what this conversation here is in the chat. Future is a foreigner? Yes, he is. This is true. All right, we're going to Kairos Junction. Kairos Junction is going to be map number 8. Dun 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 dun. Do 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 do. Huh. Oh, chat, I'm trying so hard to read. Please help. Please send Korean knowledge. All right. So, Kairos Junction is going to be True's map pick for game number 8. Future's on match point. If he wins this next game, he will be the victor of our Alpha X Pro Series number 56. But guys, don't go anywhere. After this series, we will be hosting up yet another Alpha X Pro Series. So it'll be Bomber versus Firefly. I will not be joining you for this game, for this next game. I actually have some traveling I need to do here right after I get done, but I wanted to make sure I was here for True versus Future. So we will have a short stream break, and then we will jump in to Bomber versus Firefly, a TVP that will be just as exciting as this series has been so far. So if you guys really enjoy StarCraft and you want to see some more fantastic players, feel free to stick around. Hit up that Matcherino. Grab some popcorn. Make yourself a tasty drink. And hang out with us for some more StarCraft action here on Afrika TV. Big shout out to Afrika TV, Sector 6, and Matcherino for always giving us great opportunities to cast and stream StarCraft 2 and to give these players something fun to fight for, like a large amount of money. All right, guys, this Red Zerg needs your help. He needs your energy in the chat. Make some noise for Psystorm Gaming's Red Zerg player. This is True. And spawning in the top left on match point here on Kairos Junction. This is our blue Terran player playing for Infinity Gaming. Give it up, make some noise for Future. All right, so this is True's map pick. He was the loser of our last game, so he had the opportunity to pick this map. And it's not one of the smaller maps in the pool. I was actually a little surprised. I figured that we would see something that would be an easy rush. But this is the map where... Was this the map where he did the roach timing? No, it was not. That was Cyberforest. Cyberforest was where he did the roach rush. But this is what he had in mind. He wanted to do this roach timing that worked really, really well in game number 2. He's going to try and see if he can bring it back here in game number 8 to keep his hopes alive and bring this to the ace match Game number 9. So second gas is on the way. Roaches are going to be on the way as well. And we are going to see some Ravagers pop out as well. Holy cow. Hold on to your pants here. This is about to get scouted, by the way. Look at that logo. Oh, wasn't it beautiful? All right, so Reaper's going to come in here. What's the Reaper going to see? Reaper is going to swing around. Yep, he's going to scout the Roach Warren. What is the response going to be? Oh no, the Lings get in! The Lings get in through the front door. Oh, some really great micro here by Future to keep the Marine alive. Bunker is immediately going to go down. This is the right choice here up front. True's going to see this, but I don't think there's a whole lot he can do about it because he's fully committed at this point. This is as all in as you can get into this scenario. So 1, 2, 3, yep, 4 Ravagers. The rest are going to be in Roaches, and he's just going to try and move across the map. But he did lose all the Lings. The Lings help make this a little bit stronger. 2 Marines is not going to be enough, though. Even against 4 Ravagers, 2 Marines not going to be enough. So here come the Biles. The repairs are going to have to be on point. True is going to have to try and bile the backside of this. So that way, yep, so it pushes away the workers. Ooh, 1 worker does go down. Oh, and he is able to pick that off, and that is a huge pickup for True. Future now is going to have to go up to the high ground. He's going to have to segment himself off. A tank is going to ultimately be able to push this all away. Oh, but True's way too respectful. He's too respectful of the tank. He was in a position where he could have just biled the tank down and would have just been all over but the crying. He has to be careful he doesn't lose the Overlord. That's the only thing giving him high ground vision at this point. Future's now supply blocked. This is a big deal, because he just does not want to commit resources into building more buildings. He really needs tanks. He needs other stuff. Second tank is going to come out. Barracks is going to kind of be under fire here. The tanks are just a little bit too far back, but the Ravagers are not going to be able to push up here. Barracks are going to fly away, and now we're in kind of a weird position. This is going to get really dicey here for True as he starts to lose high ground vision and he starts to lose the ability to push up this ramp. He really needs something to make the tanks go backwards. He really doesn't have anything at this point. Tanks are going to push forward here. The Marines are going to do everything in their power to try and pick off that Overlord, because if the Overlord goes away, True absolutely has to run. He cannot stay. Couple more Overlords are going to move across the map here, but the Banshee is just about done with Banshee Cloak also on the way as well. And it's going to be revealing the Banshee. Yep, and True's got to turn around and head straight back home. He's going to use the Biles to try and make the Banshee fly in a non-efficient path, so that way it doesn't just automatically connect with the army and just pick everything off for free. Queens are going to have to do a lot of defense here, though. He's going to lose 1 Ravager when it's all said and done. 1 Ravager, ultimately not going to make or break it, but this is a very, very scary push here for Future. 3 tanks. There's not a lot here to really overwhelm the tanks as well. Banshee Cloak did finish, right? Yep, it did finish. So the Banshee is going to be able to start working. The tanks actually go back. Interesting. Doesn't have the high ground. Didn't feel like he had the high ground he wanted. And he doesn't want to risk the Banshee, which was really low. Even though there really is no detection. He'd have free high ground. He's going to swing around to the top side here and deny the third base. Second Banshee's going to come in, and that's going to offer some really strong protection. And now he's going to use the landscape to his advantage. 4 tanks. It's a lot of tanks. This third base is never going to go up here. Not as long as these tanks are chilling and hanging out and making sure that is going to be a non-issue. So True's going to just move that down to the bottom side, which is the right choice. But now Future. Future. What are you going to do, my friend? You were even on workers with the Zerg. And he does have some nice muling going on as well. Double engineering bay is going to go down, so we're going to start seeing more and more bio as a couple more barracks are also placed down as well. He's got the tank count he needs, so he can freely just flip the barracks over to the tech lab and start picking up stim. Once he has stim, this becomes a really, really scary army, but it's going to be a while until he gets to that point. So if you're Future, what are the things that you need to start looking for? You really need to start looking for this Spire that just went down. 1-1's also going up for True as well, and a lot of Zerglings are on the way too. And that's going to be the right response here out of True. True is in a good position. He's really reading this correctly. Tanks are going to slowly start sieging up, getting a nice amount of splitting done so that the Ravagers don't get any free shots. But that's a lot of Queens. It's a lot of Queens with a lot of energy, so there's going to be a good amount of transfuses here. The Banshees are going to have to be really careful because the Spore Crawler now offers good vision. Oh, one Banshee just immediately goes down. Yeah, and he tries to commit and jump on top of that Spore Crawler. And some really, really good transfuses, make sure that that doesn't die. And the Spore Crawler goes down, but not before taking out all 3 Banshees. What a hero. What a hero. Lings are going to make sure this third base, it never sees the light of day. And actually, Future just doesn't even pick it up. He's so focused over here on this side of the map. Tons of Zerglings are going to connect with these Marines. I think there's enough workers here that the Marines are going to be able to clean this up. Maybe. No. Oh, yeah, it is. It is going to happen. Okay. I didn't believe my own eyes. But the follow-up Lings, those are going to be the ones that are deadly. Tanks are going to be allowed to siege up. Rest of the tanks did come back home. So, So Future manages to hang on to most of his high-cost units, but not before losing 16 workers. 10 mutas on the way. Yeah, this is starting to get out of control here for Future. These mutas are going to continue dealing a lot of damage, but I believe this is where we found ourselves in game number 1. True had a really nice, strong army, and then all it was just a momentary lapse of consciousness on where he was and what he wanted to accomplish. Suddenly, Future's streaming across the map with tons of Marines and tanks, and just GG gets dropped right into the middle of the chat. And Future really has not lost a whole lot of tanks. He's held on to most of them, so he's gotten really good value out of it. But these mutas are going to deal a fresh amount of damage here. But I think they are looking for the tanks. I think True is on the hunt. If he can clean up the tanks, he can clean up game number 8 here and force this into an ace match. Future's not down and out yet, though. Marauders are also going to be on the menu as concussive shells are brought to the game. Mutas get really close connecting with the tanks, and the Lings are also going to find him. A couple of tanks do go down. Oh, but there's a large number of Marines here. There's enough Lings that'll be able to clean this up on the ground. The boys do get pulled here to try and be some meat shield, but I think that's just going to be it. I think this is going to be an all or nothing moment here for Future. The mutas are just going to deal damage back here at home, so he's going to keep the boys with the tanks to give as much healing and repair as possible. And here it comes. The tanks are going to slowly start sieging up. The Marines running up the ramp, and that is just so many Queens. So many Queens here with tons and tons of energy. I just don't think it is going to be enough for True, but True is... Or it's going to be enough for Future, but Future is going to give it his absolute best. The mutas are going to swing around on the backside here, and that is just going to be too much for the tanks. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to see ourselves go into a game number 9. That is going to be all she wrote for Future in this game. GG is called, and we are going to the ace match here for the Alpha X Pro Series, number 56. Oh, we all thought it was possible. We all knew we had the capability. And here we are. New repugnancy. It's going to be our final map for this series. Guys, make sure hit up that Matcherino link. Let us get these players paid for giving us such great games. And again, remember to stick around here. We will have a second series. Normally we only do one of these, but tonight is a double header. Bomber versus Firefly, a PvT that will be enjoyable, maybe even more so than our current one that we're sitting in right now. I just don't know what to tell you in that regard, but you'll have to stick around and find out. I know for a fact that I will not be casting. Will be Xenodactyl, another fantastic Alpha X caster. You're going to be in great hands, guys. All of the Alpha X casting team, bunch of great people. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you want to find out more about Alpha X, head over to our Twitter, twitter.com/alphaxsc2. We do have a great partnership with Sector 6. I keep wanting to say Sexter, and I don't know why. It sounds weird. Stop that. Sector 6 Apparel. We have a great partnership with them. Feel free to click the bit.ly up at the top. We'll take you out to a link where you can find some really cool Alpha X swag. I definitely, on this cold winter night, would love to get one of those hoodies. But hey, you could pick that up for yourself if you wanted. But definitely make sure you head over to that Matcherino and add your 50 cents to the prize pool for free. Alpha Pro Series 56. We've just peaked over 100 viewers. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. This is the Alpha X Pro Series number 56. I'm Rushy. I'm your caster for this series. We are just about to come to a complete series here with True versus Future, a ZVT, but it's been a fun one. So let us know in the chat who you want to see win tonight's series. The winner will go home with the lion's share of $100, plus whatever we can muster up in the Matcherino. So if you guys want these players to see lots of money, make sure to use your coupon codes. Super, super important. Alrighty, folks. It has come to this. Our final map. New Repugnancy. He's brought it back to a rubber match. But can he close it out? This is our red Zerg player spawning in the top right-hand corner from Psystorm Gaming. Give it up, guys, for True. Then spawning in the bottom left. He's given himself as much as he could. He just needs to close it out. Our blue Terran player playing for Infinity Gaming. Give it up for Future. All right, so nothing too crazy here just yet. Future opting to keep his barracks at home. Doesn't want to risk it on this map. True also not wanting to risk things. Going pool first, but not at a ridiculously early timing. This is pretty standard. This is a pretty standard safe opening here, but it looks like Future's gonna go for the same shenanigans. It was on New Repugnancy where Future decided to go for 3-rack Reaper all off of his home base. And it looks like this is what he wants to go for yet again. It was very successful. He managed to take that win. But we'll have to see if True's going to catch wise to his plans and what he may or may not have in store. And I think he is going to have the right response. That Roach Warren coming down. And once True sees what is coming his way, I think it's going to be over for Future. I'm not sure. Future could surprise us, though. So let's not count Future out just yet. But he's definitely got his work cut out for him. 2 Reapers are going to be on the way. And it is now scouted. I think at this point you have to assume, if you're True, I think you have to assume you've seen this before. You've seen the 2 barracks on this map, and it's not just, oh, okay, this is a 2-1-1. This has got to feel like before. This has got to feel like game number 6. But roaches are I think roaches are going to be the right response, because those, while the Reapers are going to be able to dance around the roaches, and do a nice job, they're just not going to be able to fight them head on and deal the damage that they need to. Lings are going to come forward here and put pressure on the front of the wall. They're not going to get in. These Reapers are just going to pop out and deal the damage they need to deal. But here comes the Roach Rush. And if you're Future, what do you do? I can't help but feel like you can really fight this head on. You almost need to force him to head back. Although the more Ravagers that he makes, I think the more fighting power he has. The only issue is that those Ravagers now have a increased firing range, which makes it more and more difficult for the Reapers to be effective. But the trade-off is that they are, in fact, weaker. First Biles are going to go down on the supply depots. A couple of good grenades keeping the Ravagers in the air and not allowing them to get a whole lot of damage done. Ooh, trying to morph that into a Ravager really fast, but doesn't quite make that happen. These two supply depots are going to go down, and they are going to effectively supply block Future here. Ooh, he does get a nice repair off on that second supply depot, so he is still supply blocked, but not as poorly as he could be. The bunkers are going to be useful here in keeping these Roach Ravagers from getting into the main base all the way, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough to protect him from losing, because he's going to invest a lot into making sure the supply depot stays alive, and that's just to keep him on the broadside of being supply blocked. He's losing more and more workers as he's trying to defend this, and finally it does go down, but not before Futures manages to land a couple of supply call downs to make sure that those are still effective. Oh, those Biles are just so strong. He's reached the number of Ravagers here to make sure that he can almost one-shot those bunkers almost immediately. Yeah, a couple of taps from the Ravagers, and those will just go down. But a few of those Ravagers were actually really low, so those Marines are able to get a sizable amount of damage done, and two of them do go down. That makes them a little less deadly, trying to push up the ramp here. Tank is going to be able to shut this down. And there was no second base to begin with. True behind this, he's droning. What a madman. True's dealt enough damage. He really has. He's dealt enough damage. He doesn't need to continue putting on the pressure, and he sensed that if he throws these units away, it could be the end for him. It could spell the end. So we're gonna kind of go back into our corners. Both gonna regroup. Combat shields is on the way instead of I was gonna say we don't have stim just yet. So it's gonna be combat shields first. True getting supply blocked for just a brief moment. Future's going to push across the map. Future's kind of feeling a little desperate here. There's still too many Ravagers here for that tank to safely siege up. The siege tank in the back here will be able to, and we'll be able to get a couple of pot shots off. Ooh, does get a nice pickup on one of the Ravagers. But there's just too much here. Oh, the boys have been pulled. This is it. This is it for Future. He is, he's going to do everything in his power. Oh, come on. Heal that tank. Heal that tank up. You've got the time. You've got the time, Future. Oh, the boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. That's all I can sing without getting the copyright strike. But here it goes. The tank's going to siege up at the front side of the base, and they are both in range. But that is more and more Roaches on the way, and that is going to spell a lot of damage if they can get close enough to Future. But right now, he has the armies rather zoned. Tanks are just raining down, and that second base for True is under fire. It is in reach of that front tank. And now if you're True, what do you do? It looks like this base is going to go down. He's just not able to get the Ravagers close enough to launch some Biles down onto the tanks. And this is a great position for Future. He's hanging on right now. The Ravagers are slowly starting to whittle their way in. If they can get enough Biles off, that will effectively shut all of this down. Few of the Queens do manage to get killed. The Marines are going to stutter step in, but it is all over but the crying at this point for future. GG is called. What great games that we had this evening. And True is your Alpha X Pro Series number 56 champion this evening. GG to both of our players. Congratulations to True. True will be walking home with the lion's share of tonight's prize pool. Very, very good games. Wow. Well done by both of our players. Really getting everything going here. Giving us a really exciting finish to a very, very good series. Oh, but don't worry, Future's not going home empty-handed. I believe it is a 70-30 split on the prize pool, so Future will be walking away with a little bit of cash in his pocket as well for putting forth some good games. But guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves set up here. We'll probably take a short break while we get everybody in place, but Bomber versus Firefly, which will be right on this channel. So if you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to stick around and see some more amazing StarCraft 2 games. There will be, it'll be another best of 9. So you will have a great opportunity to check out some fun games and see some more great players. So let your friends know, let them know. Come on over to africatv.com/alphaxsc2 and they can check out these games with you. Thank you again to our sponsors, Africa TV, Sector 6, and Matcherino for helping us make these games and Pro Series possible. Big shout out to all of our streamers on our different languages, casting in various facets to make sure that this is a worldwide broadcast, something that we like to bring to you when we do the Alpha X Pro Series. But for me, on the English cast, thank you so much for hanging out. My name is Rushy. You guys can catch me over at twitter.com/RushySC, or if you like to watch some really good Diamond 1 Zerg action, you can catch me out at twitch.tv/RushySC. You can find that link at my Twitter if you're not entirely sure. But thank you so much, guys, for making this a great cast. For me, this is going to be so long until our next cast. You guys will be joined by Xenodactyl here in just a little bit, so feel free, hang out in the chat. Don't go anywhere. You guys will be in for a treat with Bomber versus Firefly. But for now, this is so long. I will see you guys in the next cast. Take care, and I will see you in the future.